All right, good evening, everybody. Pipe y'all down a little bit. It's good to see such a big crowd here tonight. Probably one of our strongest showings in the meetings in a while, other than when we got our SWAT meet going.
They heard you were giving out Christmas gifts.
No, yeah, I need all the Christmas gifts I can get this year. I think
it's called a boat.
I didn't deserve that.
No,
Bob did. I didn't deserve that.
no.
So yeah, welcome to the December meeting, general membership. As we always have, start out with a moment of silence and sunshine. There were actually a number of individuals that I had heard from our board and members, but Stanley Oaks from the SU Illinois Club and Trollers Unlimited down in Illinois, and also the originator of Stanley Stinger Flies passed away on December 12th. Fran Mosher, who, as I understand, was not only a club member, but board treasurer with us here in Wisconsin, passed in November 24th. And Gregory Wallace, if any of you know who John Munda is and the Munda Flies, Gregory Wallace was John's father-in-law, if I recall, and he just recently passed on November 27th. So for those of you know them, moment of silence for them, and any others, if there's any other names that need to be brought out. Obviously, if you see them, give them your regards.
One more.
I'm sorry?
One more.
Yeah.
Rich Holmes, Sequest Lures.
Oh, yeah.
His wife.
Oh, really? Yeah, we see him perennially, usually at the SWAT meets.
Yeah, he usually comes up here for your guys.
He does, yeah. All right, thank you for letting us know. All right, with that, Bob and I would also ask for another moment of silence. If you saw the post, Bob called me on Saturday and told me that my cowling was broke on my kicker because a tree fell on it. That's all he told me. I said, can you send me a couple pictures? Because I figured cowling, maybe I could find one for $150, and I get 4 pictures from him that were from like 50 feet away. But unfortunately, yeah, like about 100-foot tree, you think, Bob? About 30-inch diameter, 100-foot tree came straight down to the back of mine and took out my windshield, my railings, my back seat, and split the kicker in half. There's the kicker. It actually broke it free from the body. I tried to start it. I figured it was just a bad carburetor, but wouldn't go. And then Bob, being right next to me and the one who lured me into this trap, Bob, obviously having just got his boat replaced last year, was parked right next to me, and one of the limbs of the tree, one of the arms coming down, took out his radar arch and rocket launcher, his windshield, and half of his front railings too. So the tree was in SC Johnson's property and fell across the property line onto Dave Meyer's site.
Nice.
So we're still waiting to hear. We know that I already got a call from Jim Ladwig, and we know that their adjusters apparently looking into it. So we'll probably hear something in a couple days. But yeah, we don't know if they'll fight it or.
Want a moment of silence for them?
That's what I said. Yeah, yeah, or a seat in a boat for the winter. So.
So now, will your insurance take care of that if they don't?
Yes, our comprehensive, and that might be something that we'll get into as like a next month or a following month. We'll bring in an insurance agent to talk about the different scenarios, because my retired agent did a dynamite job of explaining to me that they could fight it and say it was an act of God, but because it's a dead tree and they weren't servicing it, they have more culpability, which is probably why they came out and cut it down, cut it off the boat for us. But he went into all these different scenarios.
I got a 20 horsepower Tecumseh, a good deal for you, in 140 feet of water.
In 140 feet?
It's been out there since August. So.
Well, the good thing is if it stays below the thermocline, that water's really cold and it tends to not rust as fast.
That was another insurance claim.
Oh, how did you explain that one on the call?
They just didn't cover the swim deck. But they covered that, the eye troll. The Panther, yeah.
Yeah, well,
everything else that wasn't on there.
Yeah.
Everyone covered a swim deck.
And the seven cold water reels and blue diamond rods that fell over with it.
Well, their shirts and it's like
Yeah.
losing a tire.
I think that's a good reason for me to get a stable and lock on mine.
Yeah, tie it on. Yeah.
It's gonna cut down our training.
Yeah, so-
Story told my backyard.
You know, Lily's not here with me tonight, but Lily, when we got the news and went and saw it, she's like, I don't understand why you're not like just crying right now. I said, inside I am, Lily. I said, but if there's one positive to this, it happened now and not in a March
Right.
spring squall. If it happened in March, like 2 weeks before we were gonna drop into the marina,
Yeah.
I'd be crying.
That's true.
So that being is, we'll get through it. Mr. Mike.
All right, we're gonna be hoping to get membership up and running again, a new form for January, so right after the holidays, keep an eye out for any email with links to it for the online registration. We've added a couple of categories into the area here about volunteering. Now, if you volunteered in one of these categories, or if you've already signed up on a committee, please mark it up again, because we're gonna wipe out all the history and start clean with the things. And then you can probably expect a call from the committee or the event chairperson saying, did you want to help by being on the committee? Do you want to be a volunteer at the event and so forth? So we're really counting on the membership to step up this year and help us out at all the different events that we participate in. The other thing, it's not on this particular slide, but there's also a line or two that's being added regarding your membership and how, as a member, we expect everybody to participate and follow and accept the code of conduct, as well as honor the bylaws of the organization. So I've got some of these forms here. If you want to take them home with you tonight, you can bring them in next month or mail them in right after the holiday. Either way, we're good to go. I've got a stack of them here, so come see me before you leave.
Yeah, the biggest thing to point out is we updated some of the things, the SU Open. We haven't had it for a few years, but it's been on our forum. So we added some of the categories that we're really hurting for, prioritize the ones that we really need help with, usually like Salmonorama and Jackpot Series. And again, just trying to encourage more people to get involved. Fishing reports, anybody been out shore on the boat? Under a tree?
I just pulled the rings off the pier tonight, and there's a bunch of guys up there burbot fishing at the end of the south pier.
Really?
And they caught some nice burbots out
They
there.
taste good.
Minnows on the bottom.
Anyone else? I thought I saw another hand go up.
I don't think I report the actual, you gas back and we point at one time. That we get green.
Casting or floating or all sorts? Okay.
Cranes and sponsors.
Yeah.
Najee's bragging about the great fishing right now off the mouth of the route out of Racine. Basically, probably no more than 20-30 feet of water, casting spinners and crankbaits for browns and steelhead.
A small pier, there's still one left in right now, yeah, a small.
Oh, at the launch?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No,
You're gone.
they pulled it.
It's gone.
Probably, they usually hold it until it ices in, and
Yeah.
with that, we did freeze over on some of the rivers, so they probably went after it.
It was wide open yesterday.
Yeah, we had, and we're gonna have cold weather again tomorrow, and it'll be back. We're right at that transition point, so. The update on the marina, if you guys don't follow it too, they have gotten about half or 3/4 of the section 1, which is the far east section, already removed out. They're hoping to have those done the next few weeks, and then they'll be building that section next spring. So it's a 4-year project on the rehab of the marina. There's gonna be a new fuel dock station. Instead of over on the west end, it's going to the east end with the new building. They're gonna have an above ground fuel tank system, kind of by where the bathrooms are, where we park on the east end out on the peninsula. And then as the years go on, year 2 is the next section to the west, and 3 is the center section, and the 4 is like the far end, but
So we're doing them all.
they're redoing the whole thing over a 4-year period. So those of us that had boats in there, we already dealt with getting assigned and shifted around, so.
Did they actually give you where you're gonna be at? I was told in an area.
Well, because I moved early, I'm okay with my spot. The ones who were over there and didn't move over, I moved over after our old dock wall broke. Twice last year, our dock floated off from the pier, broke free, so. Just kind of justified that they were ready to replace the equipment, but yeah, I'm over on E3, so. Jackpot series, Bradley has given me communication in advance, here we go. Good evening, everyone. There isn't a lot going on with Jackpot at this time, as he spent a majority of the last few weeks either out in the woods or working a lot of hours, so he wasn't able to do much recently. They will be starting to get aggressive for the next few months. They are also looking for additional committee members to help with planning, executing, and most importantly, fundraising for the events, which go a long way. However, he wanted to remind everyone that they still do have the Super Bowl pool and the strip cards for the games with a lot of empty slots and opportunity to buy in some squares as they're filling up. He'd suggest signing up soon with time running out and less than 2 months away on the big game. I think he's afraid to say Super Bowl, like he's gonna get caught by the NFL. He wasn't too aggressive in the past few weeks, but he's gonna start marketing it more now that he has time, both internally and externally, hoping to fill it up quickly. If anyone is interested in signing up for any slots or squares, stop by and see him after the meeting. The dates were also announced. I think we had those up last time, but just in case they are up there. Any other notes or news on Jackpot? Mr. Jim.
So Salmonorama is up and going. We are looking for volunteers. With the move to the festival site, going back to the festival style. We definitely need help in several areas. Meetings are the first Monday of every month, right here at the Yacht Club at 7 p.m. We will also be sending out reminders, so if you'd like to be added to the list, let us know. We also are just today, Todd got the guns ordered for the Second Amendment raffle that we do every year. We ask that you please help out and get these tickets sold. There's only 1,000 for $20 a piece. And this year we have 15 guns on there, so it's a pretty good raffle that we put together, thanks to Todd. Again, all those proceeds go to pay the 10th through the 20th during Salmonorama. So it benefits all the anglers and pays out more prizes, so it's up to the general membership to help out and get these all sold. So the tickets will probably be printed in the next week or so, I imagine. So we'll definitely have them before the January meeting. If you need them ahead of time, get a hold of me or Todd and we'll make arrangements to get you some, but.
Just in time for tax refund season.
Yes, we really need to work on getting these sold a lot sooner. It's.
Takes the stress off the rest of the planning.
Especially when you're dealing with $17,000 worth of guns, we gotta make that back, so. The faster we sell them, the sooner we're into the black to make a profit, so. Help out with that, but again, we'll be back at Festival Hall this year. The 11th will be the last day to sign up, that's the first day of the festival. The tournament, the 12th through the 20th. And we will be having all the things we had last year with the raffles and things like that. But again, we do need help with bartending, food preparations, the raffle sales out on the site. If you can't make it, maybe you got family and friends that you could talk into coming down and giving us a hand. I know a lot of people like to fish this, but we definitely need people to step up and help.
1 or 2 shifts. If everybody gave 1 or 2 shifts, we'd have no problem. Don't need to be here the whole week. Although we appreciate those who do more than anything, but give 1 or 2 shifts. We got some dignitaries in the room too.
Talk about our swap meeting.
What's that?
Swap meeting.
Okay, yeah, I think I got it up in here too, but go ahead. So Jim, current president, and Jack, president. John, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
From SU Illinois. I didn't.
Yes,
hear-
you Scott,
It was
so we're
fun.
both members of
Yeah.
the Scott.
Yeah, but you guys really drive
Yeah.
that force down there
Yeah.
too. So I know you're
Yeah.
dual members, so am I. I was gonna wear my hoodie actually tonight,
Yeah.
but it turned out it was in the laundry. Did you want to bring it up now or?
Yeah, we used to be the last, Saturday in February, but this year we had to put it up 1 week to February 15th.
Okay.
so February 15th is gonna be our swap meet in River Grove, Illinois. And Josh and, has been there.
Yeah, Bradley's actually gonna set up a
There's gonna
table.
be a table there. So I'll pass out a few flyers and hopefully, a couple of you guys can make it out there. Even if you don't exhibit, you could always.
Yeah, we had about 95 tables last year.
It's
We had a little over
robust.
200 people walk in.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good show. We're really working off that for this year.
Yep.
Plus, too, if you guys want to get a table up there, you guys can get the discount because you already have Wisconsin.
Right. So yeah, we give you the same price as our members,
Yeah.
$25.
Want to get a table up there.
Yeah. All right, we appreciate some people.
Yes,
Question? We have the gun raffle tickets, do we sell them there that day?
We don't allow no raffling going on.
I don't
That's
know
fine.
that we can,
I
don't they
just
have
wanted
to be
to ask.
sold in the state of
Plus,
Wisconsin?
Wisconsin, Illinois, that's a whole different.
I thought I just asked.
Yeah, we don't have, we just don't have no raffles going on.
Well, I don't even know that we can. I think our raffle license is only for the state of Wisconsin. That's,
Don't like guns in Illinois.
yeah. Not that Illinois members can't buy them, come up here and buy
Get in
them.
the wrong hands.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't have no raffles or nothing going on at that. It's strictly just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, stuff for sale and a lot of.
a lot of stuff for sale. All right, yeah, if you wanna send them around, for sure.
Sure. It's a good opportunity to get new stuff and get rid of your old stuff.
I mean, like last year I bought 15 Yellowbirds, brand new to package, $3 a piece.
Get out of here.
Experience something or bad thing.
No, the original Yellowbirds. Not the crappy ones today. I mean, there's some really special deals there.
You could always find a lot of deals, I've been there quite a few different
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. That was my first time going last year and I was pretty impressed by all the different vendors.
Can I, just a quick question? As I recall, one time I was gonna go down that way, and it was kind of a journey. Yeah, is it pretty far inland? I mean, away from the lake, or?
Yeah, it's over southeast of O'Hare.
Closer to 294, it's about 10 minutes off of 290.
Yeah, it's southeast of O'Hare, just,
Oh,
you figure O'Hare Airport and it's about 10 minutes.
Roads back from Ryan.
Right.
We've been working for the last couple of years, trying to get a venue halfway in between around the Gurney area. We
Yeah.
just haven't found a good one in the Gurney area enough to. So I'd like to get a table.
Jim?
Uh,
Jim,
I'm on the bagel, come on.
Wisconsin's biggest ice fishing tournament weekend.
All right, with that, I'd like to invite up our guest speaker for the night. I think a man who doesn't need many introductions,
Not ready.
if not any. Not ready for what? Got your beer, you got liquid courage? Please welcome Captain Arnie. I was gonna tell you, since my boat was damaged and we found two of the identical model out in Ohio. One right next to Cedar Fair, Sandusky, and the other about an hour east. So Lily really wants to get another of the same boat, and I thought it'd be great, we could get it and we could rename it Phoenix.
There you go.
Nobody's ever used that name before.
I got one question real quick, all right?
Yes, sir.
How's Fuzzy doing?
Buzz is doing all right.
Yeah.
Fuzzy's home. He got home on the 17th of November.
Just before Thanksgiving.
I know that people have been asking me about the club about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're working on, getting him an all-terrain wheelchair so that he will still be able to go on the boat as well as others. But he's well enough to get out of the hospital, but he's got a long road of rehab and, ability and things. His wife is doing pretty well. I think she's still doing some physical therapy. But he is paralyzed from the neck down.
He is.
He is. And it's his weight, has a factor, of course, but I mean, that's Fuzzy. That's how he is. But he's better to where he's out of the hospital now. But it's a long road, and I have a contact myself that I've been asking about Harry about, or Fuzzy with, and You know, I know the Hoosier Cove Classic is doing several drawings and raffles and things to help out. He was a big part down there. So it's
Well,
he's got
there's some
a,
promise, it sounds like.
yeah, he's got a road,
Yeah.
but I think it'll be good for everybody to see it.
Thanks for asking. Absolutely. What was I gonna, let me see where I was gonna start.
WLBA.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's it. I guess, there's not a lot going on, believe it or not, which is a good thing. There are some hot issues though. Right now, the one thing I'll tell you is that I got egg take numbers the other day. I did not get the brown trout egg take numbers. But they took 3.5 million Chinook eggs. And they took about 1,100,000, just short of 1,100,000, so over 1,000,000 whole eggs. The brown trout, he didn't have exact numbers on, so he didn't want to give me a number yet. Something that's interesting about that, so, you know, we're looking at that going into next year for 2025. Our stock levels are gonna be very similar to what we had this year. There might be a few increases. Steelhead might be one, might be a little bit of brown trout, but that's gonna be based on how they, you know, what's left, what actually made it through the whole process of, you know, for a year. But with the Chinook eggs being at 3.5 million, a lot of people are asking why they're taking so many. I was in Sheboygan last night talking. They're like, why would you take 3.5 million eggs when we're only gonna probably put in like 1.4 million fish? So what's going on lake wide is, you know, you guys know, I'm sure you've been down at the weir. Well, when they take an egg, you know, they basically fertilize them in the bucket. Well, then the bucket goes off to the hatchery. And the next stage for that egg is they call it eyed up. It's when you take that egg and you look at it, there's a little dot in it. There's actually, it's a pretty good sized dot. And that lets you know that those cells are dividing, there's life in that egg. You know, and that's the eyed up stage. Well, over the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years now, the percent of eggs that eye up has dropped really, like, to a level that, I mean, they're very concerned with it, in that it used to be like around 20% would not eye up, or, you know, 15 to 20%. Now they're high, a little bit higher, they're on that, like, that mid to high 40s at times. So they're actually having to take double what they want, eggs, to hope that they can produce them. So here's a little pitch for us at the WLBA. Years ago, they would take 1.8 million eggs to make 1.4 million fish. They would still be doing that if we weren't on top of it. Because we had a year where they did that, we only made 800,000 fish. You know, so a lot of times, a little bit, it's like we watch everything. You know, I don't know how many people ever called and made sure, wanted to know what the egg take was gonna be, and then what did you guys actually get? And here's where we're at, and how are they eyeing up and all that. But that's kind of some of the stuff that we do that, you know, no one ever knows about, which is really good, is like with Todd Collish and some, you know, Todd and I talk quite a bit. A lot of times he'll just, and he and Brad will send updates on it, so I don't have to ask, like, hey, we did this, which is very unusual for our department. That's a whole new thing for them to be more transparent, but that's kind of some of the stuff that we worked through. That's like our long-term goal that's come together on that. So I'm really happy that they took that many eggs. I hope they can work through this problem. The big thing is, so it's lake wide, so it is a lake problem. Michigan's having the same issue. What happened was, though, the first few years, they didn't anticipate like it continuing. The first year, but they took a little more the second year. They didn't have enough eggs left over to start working on a solution to the problem. So we were kind of in that balance stage. Well, now they're actively working on it out of Ann Arbor, and then the qualitative analysis, it's called research. It's a facility in Michigan that they're actually working on why they're not eyeing up as well. You know, but there's so many factors that, like, if you guys, you know, like what goes into that egg, making it to a fish is incredible. The amount of work and how many how many little stages they go through. But they were talking about like thiamine, they introduced thiamine, you know, maybe we're introducing too much, or maybe we're not introducing enough, maybe the period. So there's all these little challenges that they're working through. But the good thing is that they're kind of now they're actually planning ahead for problems. So we're really happy about that. The other thing that we're kind of working on is going over a little bit with the Kettle Marine Hatchery. the project fell a little short of completion in finance. So that's one of the things we're looking at. Hopefully, we're gonna be able to have some influence and get them a little more money to finish that. That's enough, a lot of people don't realize that. They think that we're like at odds with the DNR, or that we're, like I said, we're a little bit of a watchdog group. But, I always tell people it's surprising to me. One of the things that we always heard was there's not enough hatchery space. Why can't we grow more? Well, we don't have enough space. We don't have enough space. Well, Catamaran was in a shambles, and they started to do it. Well, they started with like $1 million, and then they went to 2 million, but that wasn't going to do it. And all along they kept saying, we need to rebuild this facility. And that's one of the things that we did. Our professionals went into like joint finance and worked and showed them the value of the fish, not only for us, but like basically the economic value of it all. And we got $26 million for the department. So I don't know that we're the enemy, when we spend our private money to hire a professional, go get you $26 million, I would think we're friends now. So that I just wanted to dispel that we sit and argue with them. That's not close to what we're doing. One of the things that's coming up, and I was talking to Josh about this the other day, and it's, if you guys look at like the net pen guys, contracts through 2025. So there's talk about not doing it. Now the department's not saying that, but everybody else, or not everybody, but a few other people are.
Well, they left it up to the club pretty much now and said that
Well,
if we wanted to do it,
okay.
they're not doing any more research.
Well, their studies show that there's no negative effect, but there's not really a positive effect.
Yeah, some years yes, some years no.
Right. But the study's only 3 years. All right, now I'm gonna tell you about the study, what I don't like about it. Number one, when they do a study in the West Coast on return, the only fish they count are dead ones. Yet that fish had to come and die, and then it returned to the river. Let me know if you ever saw one of the DNR guys picking up a dead. Okay, number one. Number two, we had COVID. All right. Federal employees were not working. So we have a gap. So you have a gap in data, you don't have accurate data. Number three, if we took the net pen project and looked at it as 100, if we took 100% of the net pen, this is what we have, this goal. I was telling Josh, in my eyes, you guys should be looking at that net pen that we're gonna raise and do good with those fish and return them. That's probably got about 30% of the value of that net pen. The 70% value of that net pen is what it can do for the club, what it can do to bring people into the sport, what it can do to show the community how invested we all are. And we're missing a little bit of that. That net pen's gonna bring people down and look at it. I know where yours is at. Other places, other places can do this. But to let this net pen program go, I think it's a huge mistake. I think if you talk to the guys at Fisher River, they think it works. In other places, they're doing school programs to teach kids about it. And then in Sheboygan, they had like the 4-H clubs, they turned it into a big event when they let the fish go. All right. The club's about furthering the sport along, right? We got to introduce more people into it. And that is a really, really good community activity that I think can be utilized really. It's being underutilized. I'm not saying you're doing a bad job or anything. It's just think of the possibilities that you can do with that. And I would encourage you guys to stick with it and not let it go. Somebody in here did a lot of work to get that here. And a few years, a few more years might not hurt, just especially if we can, Kenosha, we're gonna work on getting more exposure, and Milwaukee's had it, but it's like one of those things, it's been there, so they don't really push it too hard. And they really could.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Manitowoc, ain't that part of their zoo?
Manitowoc, yeah, they have a funny thing, but now it's funny they asked that. Manitowoc wants to build a net pen right now, and they're kind of worried because they don't want to invest all that money. And then if the DNR doesn't really want to do it, that's what they're afraid of.
Because they got a brown trout.
Right.
in their zoo.
Yeah. But Manitowoc's the only port that doesn't have a active net pen program. So that's my little bit on the net pen. The other thing that's kind of going on, you guys got to start paying attention to again is the lake trout. The commercial lake trout issue. It is going to be at the point. Probably in January that the department's gonna present a scope statement. And for those of you who don't know what a scope statement is, it's in scoping is what it is. Everything that having a commercial quota will affect. What it affects, the value, the negativity, the economic impact, everything is supposed to be in that scope statement. And nobody's seen it yet. The department hasn't made it public. But it sounds like they're gonna present it to the Natural Resource Board in January. And there's several steps before it becomes a rule. Commercial guys are they're pushing really hard to make it an emergency rule, which I don't know how they can do it, but that's what they want right now. So I will keep you guys informed on what's going on there.
What are your thoughts on chances of it happening versus not happening?
I think he offered to bet someone within the DNR.
Right now, I would say less than 50% chance it happens. The reason I say that is because there's gonna be a lot of influence about not happening.
Yeah. Support.
Problem is, in the state of Wisconsin, the statute that says there shall be a viable commercial entity. And they use that every step of the way. That's like our right in Wisconsin. I don't know if you guys know this, but we have a constitutional right to hunt, trap, and fish. We have a right, not a privilege. It's a right. It's a huge thing in law. And viable is a word that I don't really understand what that means. But there shall be, like there shall be a wolf hunt. That's why there was a wolf hunt. So in legal terms, it could happen. I'm not sure. If we just looked at, if it was a small quota, wouldn't hurt anything probably. Small being 2,000 fish. But what's happened is the commercial, and they have the right to go and fight for themselves, of course. But we had what was called a total, they've changed. We have now what's called a total allowable catch, a TAC number. Before it was not a TAC number, it was allowable catch. But anyway, that used to be 84,000. And now they've redone their model with the rehabilitation program that's been going on since basically the 70s. Or actually the 60s at some point they started, but it got really going in the 80s. And they've taken that total allowable catch down to about 49,000. So if the commercial, what they want is half of the total allowable catch. So that would be 24 something, and we'd get 24 something. If you take the last 10-year average, we're at about 32,000 lake trout annually sport. So it would be, I'm guessing that it would be fashioned like Lake Superior, where they have a closed season. And everybody thinks we're gonna go to like 49,000. They're not gonna let us go to 49,000. They're gonna go to about 80% and they're gonna shut it down. So like 3 years ago, the lake trout season on Lake Superior closed like April 4th. So that's something, and I'm not saying that that's gonna happen here, but I would say if they got it, our limit will go down to 2. We'd go back to closed seasons and they have the right to close it when we got close to the number. When the lake trout went from 2 to 5, there was like almost no increase in the catch. Part of that reason is, and this is something we don't take credit for, but we're going to start, is that the reason that the WLBA formed was they were going to take us down they're going to take a 62% cut on us on Chinooks. We're going to be putting in about 335,000 Chinooks annually. Michigan was going down. So let's think of it this way. How was fishing last year?
Pretty darn good.
Last year is probably going to show to be the best catch per rate hour Lake Michigan and Wisconsin's ever had. All right. So if you take the Chinooks and put them at 330,000. So how would you like to fish last year? And you're going to catch, in a perfect world, you're going to go out and try to catch one of 900,000 Chinooks swimming around. Or how would you like it, like you had it, where you had a chance to catch 1 in 5 million? That was not going to happen with the department. The department and the LMC, which is the governing body for Lake Michigan, was going to cut it. The great thing was, we got Wisconsin to stand up for our Wisconsin. And obviously, I'm not gonna say we were right, but it sure looks like it. Because now Michigan followed suit.
Yeah.
Illinois followed suit and Indiana followed suit. When Wisconsin cut, when we fought the cut. And we said, no, we're not gonna cut, we're gonna stock 1 million fish. I still have a screenshot from Jay Wesley. And I believe it was Ben Dickinson from Indiana, the head of their department. Telling Wisconsin, I hope you're happy that you're gonna crash the lake. And one of them said, I hope that we're gonna take responsibility for what we're doing. Well, I think we should take responsibility now. You know, not only do we have the fisher, if we took away all the biological data information through the way. And all we could do is say, okay, let's go catch a fish. Take it, throw it here. How's it look? Look pretty healthy to me. I didn't see a lot of sick ones. Must be okay. You know, we had big fish, what, 32-pound king, one Sanorama, right? Exactly what was that, RJ? You know?
Are you rubbing it in?
Well,
I thought maybe you know number one at least. But, you know, I mean, we want to complicate everything. Well, if the fish, if they're good sized and healthy, then I don't think we have an imbalance. We could get an imbalance. I'm not saying it won't happen, maybe. But right now, I think we're in a pretty good place. We've had outstanding fish in the last 3 years. You know, I don't think we were irresponsible by saying we're seeing something different than you were. And luckily they had to take notice, which they did.
The total allowable catch, did they ever take into consideration and all like whatever commercial fleet wants to just take it and grind it all up in a dog food and shit, whatever, and but we have thousands of anglers that are trying to go out there and just having to enjoy yourselves and do all that. Did they ever take that into consideration that you couple guys that are just gonna grind these up are gonna take most of the catch away from the thousands of people trying to be out there pulling boats, going to arenas and dumping all that in the county?
Well, unfortunately, I'd say unfortunately or not unfortunately, it's supposed to be taken all into account.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm sorry, King John, and go ahead.
Well, one thing that they also want to do, they want to be able to keep an incidental catch of whatever comes in their nets. That means they're looking also for chinook, rainbow, coho, and those are fish that we have an interest in, and that our fishing dollars are spent on those fish. And the commercials aren't putting this money towards it.
going to tee that up.
There's a lot of unknowns. There's a ton of unknowns right now. There's a ton of problems with this. The last thing that we want to see, I don't, is that the rehabilitation of these the lake trout go the wrong way. I mean, it's been a long time, a lot of effort, a lot of money, a lot of stuff, we sat at 2 fish for an awful long time, which is fine. That was a sportsman's part of rehabilitation. And when we got to a certain number, it was supposed to be given back to us, and they didn't, so we asked for it back. Why not? And that's part of it. There's a lot of issues that are brought up. In Wisconsin, there's a statute you can't sell game fish. So how are you gonna get over that? There's a action warning on lake trout on the side. Yeah, so that's an issue.
All fish.
I don't know how they're gonna get over all this yet. It's like they want to start fishing right now. That's why they want to make it an emergency rule. So it's like, I don't know, you're gonna fly without a wing or something. I don't know.
They still want to self-police their incidental catch. And that's one.
Yeah, that they want to, but that I don't see how that could happen.
And second, if the incidental catch becomes too much, just like lake trout, they could close the season on the same fish.
Right,
Correct.
that's what I mean. That'll be part of the,
That's the big kicker.
right.
That's dangerous.
Well, it's like our perch. It's only, we have 5 fish limit. I always thought, man, why don't you just make it 10? Then more people at least will want to go for 10. It's a meal, I mean. And, they're gonna self-regulate. You can't catch 10 a lot of times, right? But if you moved it by 10, that's 100% increase. Commercial would have to get that. And there was not really a good forethought when they dropped it to 5, because how are you gonna move? Can't move it to 7, you know?
Do they commercial down in Illinois for perch?
No, there's no commercial boats in them. They're all
They
gone.
do a lot of netting for them for DNR purposes.
Yeah,
I got a couple minutes, I can talk about some stuff that's happening in Illinois too. You know, we lost 250,000 coho last year at the hatchery in Illinois. Instead, they found some steelheads, they put 500,000 steelhead in. Take care of the 250,000 coho that we lost. Vic Santucci called us a couple days ago. Illinois goes down to Jake Wolf every year in March. We do a clipping down there.
Yep.
They're going to put in a different strain of brown trout, 115,000. We're gonna do a double clip on them in March.
okay.
115,000, different strain of brown trout. Don't know the exact strain, but it's supposed to be a big strain, a big fish. It grows fast.
Bigger than the sea.
How old is it, Jim? Do they tell you how it's gonna be?
This information just came out 2 days ago.
Did he, okay,
Just came out 2 days ago. They just called the club and they say, hey, because they had to get the
Great
gate
news.
set up for us for the clips, for the clip.
yeah, that's
We're
great.
gonna clip 115,000 in one day now. Anybody wants to go do that, okay? We give you guys a food voucher, we put you up in a motel, you can actually send your gas bill to us, we'll pay your gas up to $75. We're looking for 40 people this year to go down there. Cause we try to do this one day, this 115,000.
When's the
one day.
date?
It is, I don't have it on me, what is that, the date?
It's around St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Monday,
As you get that date, send it to me.
yeah. I get
I'll
some
disseminate it
information
to
on
our club
yeah.
members.
Cause we're looking for 40 people this year. We're having a hard time getting over that 30 bump. you
Yeah.
know? So we're looking for 40 people, but we do
It's a
pay us
7
gas.
Judge.
We get gas, we get a motel set up right down there the whole bit. It's like a vacation, but out there. Yeah, it's a Monday though. It's on a
Yeah,
Monday.
St. Patrick's Day.
It's, yeah, it's Monday. Yeah, it's a Monday, but
Well, and they feed you at the hatchery, so.
big food, we have a big food spread at the end, we pay out and stuff.
So you will not go home.
They pay us about $2,000 to do this, but it still costs a couple about $1,000 at the end of the day.
I might,
Where's the
It's
next?
about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Jack goes by Havana.
From you?
Yeah, it's probably,
South-
For us.
Southwest of Bloomington a little.
yeah, it's a cruise.
It's not bad.
If you ever thought of it, it's the coolest thing you ever seen. Jake Wolf Hatchery is a state of the art hatchery. They've got so many fish going on inside this thing and the clipping, I've been down there 3 times, John's been down there 15 times probably. But it's super, super cool to go on this clipping. We're
Yeah.
gonna do a double clip this year, which is gonna be a little more, they do these fins here, they do the back one.
Yeah,
They're probably gonna do one side here and one off the back one, I think. I don't know what they're gonna do, but they demonstrate how you do it right away. These real quick, these fish come out of the tank, and they got these little fins on the side. They got a chemical in there. They go in there, they roll over like they're all dead. You grab when you clip them, you throw them back in this other bin, it's salt water, boom, they come back to life like this, grab them away, back in the tank they go.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing you ever see. You think you're gonna.
Our hatchery, like our
I use the
hatcheries,
same thing on my kids to get them to sleep.
Yeah.
and that Jack Wolford, it's really impressive. What
But
goes on.
like I said, it was in Illinois, had been doing some major dumping to steal it at the lake at the harbor down there.
Yeah.
They're
Joaquin
still
Harbor
having,
and North Point.
they're still doing the cohos and the king.
So the cohos now
Yeah,
are gonna be from now on, are gonna have the staple in their head. They're flipping them and stapling, they're running through the machine like the kings.
yeah.
Yeah, they're.
All the cohos, they
doing
want
that study
information on the
now.
cohos now.
Curiosity with these commercial fishermen that may come back. Is there different rules between here in Wisconsin and Michigan and?
Well, Wisconsin, they all have, they govern their own waters, absolutely. They govern their own waters. We don't,
And is there any rules, say your Indian heritage to,
I'm sorry,
say your Indian heritage?
not in Wisconsin, that's they have it, but it's in Wisconsin, it's Lake Superior that we have that.
Yeah.
Michigan has it in Michigan, no?
I was just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Michigan, it's
The
completely
neighbors
different.
are the ceded territory, the commercial fishermen.
Yeah, there's, the lake has seeded, what they call seeded water,
Yeah.
so. The other thing I was gonna, real quick, there's gonna be a lot of talk about, license fee increases. Maybe at some time you'll hear me, if I'm in front of the right crowd. I'm gonna oppose. We at the WLBA oppose it. It has nothing to do with money, really. It has nothing to do with our money, my money. $20 to go fishing, I can still afford that. I'm broke, but I can still. $10 for the stamp, I can still afford that. My problem is, in our stamp fund, we have $3.3 million again. We carry over $3 million in our stamp fund. All right? The state is not a bank. They should be spending that on our hatchery, on raising fish. That money is, they can't do anything else with it. The other thing is, they're gonna talk about, not this year, or 25, 26. They're gonna have like, they said last year, a $16 to $17 million shortfall in the department. I don't know how much you guys know about federal stuff. Pittman Roberts money, Dingle Johnson money is excise that we pay as sportsmen, hunters and fishers. Pay on the goods that we buy. That money comes back to the state. They're having a little trouble telling us where the 20 million bucks went. I'm not giving anybody a raise. And it has nothing to do with $20 to go fishing. I pay a lot more in a lot of places. I spend a lot of money on licenses. It has nothing to do with the $20. It has to do with accountability. Where is this money going? Why can't you tell me where it's at? And that's federal money that we get. And that, like Dingle Johnson especially, is absolutely earmarked for fishing, for hatchery, for raising fish, for pushing the sport of fishing forward. So I'm not real happy with that one, because everybody says, yeah, but it's only $5. That's not the point. It's $5 more for 1.9 million people. Or it's or if they're gonna raise our stamp, it's $5 more for the 190,000 people that buy the stamp. Have the $5, I'll give it to you. That's not the point. So if you hear me talking about it, you'll know that there's a little background to it. It's not me being cheap. You know, I'd rather steal the money than, cheap.
There's a tax on everything sold for fishing, hunting, etc.
Yep.
That goes directly to it.
Yep. Yep.
This might be a dumb question, but are the stamps separated between a turkey stamp?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
To fish
Lake Michigan, there's the Lake Michigan, the Great Lakes stamp goes in a fund.
Its own fund.
Its own fund, correct. And then like inland goes to inland,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so
Segregated money.
you're right. But you know, so if you take a charter boat and he sells a 2-day license to a client. That $14 doesn't go to the stamp fund, a portion goes to the general, because a part of it is a license and part of it would be the stamp, so. Because everybody wants to know, why does the 14 go to the stamp? Well, there's a license involved in there too, so that's, it's all percentage on those. Same with like if you went and bought a 1-day fishing license, you'd have to buy the annual stamp to go fishing on Lake Michigan. Well, then that would stay in the stamp fund. That would have nothing to do with it. So, but it's kind of been quiet with the DNR, but they've been, there's not a lot going on, which is actually a good thing. We have a few issues that we're keeping an eye on, but like I said, the one thing I think about how you do your net count, try to bring it up to the forefront. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of work doing it, but I think it can bring a lot of value. I really do.
Right, this federal money, 32 bills or whatever. You said it's $20 million.
Yeah.
Who does that go to? Does that go to the state or does that go to the DNR?
Well, it goes to the state, but it's earmarked. Yeah, it's got to go to the DNR.
But so
It's an excise tax, so
the state treasurer receives it and he's supposed to turn it over to the DNR.
it does. It goes to the department.
And it's not reported whether it is
No.
or not.
That money, what's that question right now is where the money is in the department. Where did it go?
Or did they use?
Where did it get used for? Correct. Interesting fact, the Department of Natural Resources has never been audited.
Really?
It is right now. Nobody's happy about it, but it's never been, isn't that crazy? I was like, come on, really?
That's a lot of money.
Be like the Pentagon anyway.
Yeah. Hey, it's like bad if you say, like, I don't know how many of you guys are mountain bikers, like ride a mountain bike. But there's no excise tax on that. There's no excise tax on certain things that like going to, bird watching or, but it's still the outdoors. But yeah, we have to fund our own thing. A sleeping bag has got excise tax, camping, hunting and fishing. which is fine if it stays with hunting and fishing, you know? So. Anybody have any questions?
I have one actually piggybacking off on the net pens. So obviously you guys fish the Illinois waters and Kenosha waters. We've got net pens in Kenosha. Waukegan, I think they dumped them.
Never. We will never have net pens in Illinois.
Right, but they dump fish in
Oh,
stocking,
absolutely. Big time.
none in Winthrop Harbor.
Yeah, they do.
They do dump in Winthrop.
Big dump. They just did a big dump on steelhead about
Didn't they, weren't,
last month.
wasn't there a gap though for a while where they weren't
No, they've been doing it in North.
consistently? Okay, I'm just curious if ports where you don't see stocking done,
Don't see the Kings in the North Point, the Waukegan, Montrose.
where they're,
East Chicago gets it.
Yeah, down there. The
So-
King's not there, the Coals, the steel come out of North Point.
right, so the, where they're dumped, you tend to see them back in the falls, right?
Well,
Whether they're net pens. or
not so
don't.
much around North Point.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we have no river there. We got, you can, that's all you
Yeah,
got there.
they built,
There's nothing going out
Right.
in the lake to bring them back to there.
yeah, you got
There used to be a little creek by the power plant.
yeah, just north
And
of
they
the
did have
port.
some stocking there, and that used to be a big place,
Yeah, they
but
did.
that's all dried up now and gone.
Yeah,
so
it's sanded in.
And they never opened that back up. So
Yeah.
it's, you know, we just don't have that contributory coming out of the lake.
No,
Like you guys put my in the road.
I was just
Yeah.
curious if you see them at places where they're not stocked.
No.
You know, on Josh's thing, I did hear that, where you guys dump them, a lot of people fish that spot thinking they're coming back.
Yeah, yeah, everybody, I'm going to North Point salmon or
Right.
steelhead fish. Dumbass.
I
They
heard
were-
that a lot.
Yeah, that's happen.
Yeah. Okay,
So in Illinois,
How-
Vic, you know that Vic guy, Vic St. Susie guy, he's a piece of work. But when we asked him about net pens, I physically took him to the side and said, Vic, we're a club, we're a fishing club, you know, everybody's got these net pens, we wanna do net pens. He looked right at me, you will never have net pens.
Too warm.
He's afraid we're gonna lose them.
Well, they lost 250 last year. What are they
They
worried
did.
about?
yeah,
They lost 250.
right,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I said that out loud.
yeah.
I didn't mean
But
to.
that's but the hatchery, they lost them coming to the lake.
Doesn't matter where they lost.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they lost them, they were done, ready to go, man.
Hey, Jim,
They lost them on the window.
Jim, when you're in business, if you're delivering something you
Yeah.
didn't deliver, who
Yeah.
cares?
We
didn't make it.
We lost
Not
one
paying
year,
you.
too, for Canucks.
Ah, we had a question back here.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to kind of change the subject a little bit. Earlier in your conversation, you brought up about getting younger generations in. This spring, I was brought into the Boy Scout troop. We took some kids out fishing and stuff. It was, unfortunately, I didn't know I was gonna be doing it by myself. We thought we were gonna have some more parents, but it was by far one of the best days
Yeah.
I ever
Yeah.
had. But like SU Illinois and everything, do we have any programs reaching out to those specifics groups, Boy Scout troops across?
So there,
But to me, we got a lot of people with boats.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, as a captain running a boat, you know, I'm not a charter, I'm not, but I took a lot of kids out this last year, and with the fishing as good as it was, you're just handing them a rod.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was one of the best feelings I've ever had.
yeah. So that's something that, you know, we've had our youth event that unfortunately we've been waiting for the county to finish the quarry pond. But we hope to be bringing that back this year. But in terms of getting them out deep, that's really something that we can self-organize. The biggest thing that usually requires is volunteers.
Because I'll tell you, that has been an addiction to it, Tommy, his kid.
Yeah,
5 years
once you get
old.
those kids hooked.
Yeah, very first fish he caught was 20-pound king. We nicknamed him Broad Hog. He stood at the back of the boat for 5 hours and would not leave. Every rod that went off, he
Yeah.
wanted to crank that fish in.
Yep.
Until he tired himself out, till he slept on the cooler.
On the cooler.
Yeah.
We had that.
But it was
Cool.
an absolutely amazing event. So if you got your own boat and you haven't taken kids out fishing, it is by far, and I appreciate Josh for asking me. And that was after 3 or 4 days fishing in a row. Josh was like, hey, I had a boat bail on me. Can you do this? And then the family was from California, and they were Californians. So when they got there, I was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be fun, because I didn't have a second mate because the other family didn't show up.
Yeah, Well,
So,
if you like the value of that, one of the other groups I'm trying to get out as a speaker for us is, fishing has no boundaries.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone else in here has participated with them up in Milwaukee. But, that's a group that similarly, they take out individuals with disabilities, both physical and cognitive, and, it's just a blast, that magic when they hit their first fish. So it could be a little coho, it could be a lake trout, they're just amped.
yeah, it's, for people that haven't done that before, absolutely last year was completely amazing. I mean, it was great fishing, so every time we went out, we caught a lot of fish, but, I don't know if you guys do that.
I have to give SU, Illinois a pat on the back. I took a bunch of kids in the city a few years back down to Waukegan
For
Harbor.
the kids tournament.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing about our
They
tournament,
had
it's
a
on the
great
lake.
time.
Yeah.
And then
It's
the
on the
harbor
lake,
opened
that's
up
a
to
big thing about
everybody.
our tournament.
You can take. a
Down in the
whole
marina.
Truckload of kids down
Yeah.
there. They had a
I
great
think
time.
we had 97 or 98 this year.
Yeah, it was good,
Yeah.
good thing.
I wanted-
Well, like I said, our big thing is on the lake.
Yeah, they do it right in the marina, they've
Yeah.
got the support of the marina, which,
We have the support of the marina.
we could check with Kerry on that, but even if we didn't get that specific marina, we could still use potentially some of the riverway or something, but
They like to
Especially
food, they like
if
to
you get a few
grind,
more
they like
boats.
fish.
Yeah.
Because you're getting one or two kids on a boat.
well,
unless you-
this was on the
This
docks.
is on the harbor, yeah, this is the harbor.
Yeah,
Fine.
The boat situation is always tough because you're trying to find 10 or 15 people to supply their boat. And
Yes.
gas, their time and their efforts to take these kids out. And I get it, I'm all about it.
And it's expensive.
Yeah, I
It-
get it,
there's a
and it's
feeling-
tough. I mean, you guys find it out with your veterans outings, you know, if you guys weren't giving away Salmon-a-Rama tickets. You guys wanna do these things for free? How many boats you think would show up for that?
yeah,
Dang, you know?
And some of these
So
kids
it's
don't like
tough.
water.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
but like ours in the charters, you know, I'm in the charter business too. These kids come on a boat, man, they're freaking hog headed. I'm talking, first rod goes off. Soon as they reach that first fish in, like you said, they're hooked.
Yeah.
They're hooked, man. I mean, I got people come back 4 times this year. On the same trip with the same kids, cause those kids were just pretending to have the whole time. I wanna go fishing, I wanna go fishing.
No, it is absolutely amazing.
But I'm with you, that is our next, people are gonna bring it up, look how many people here today. How many people we got less than 30 years old here today?
Yeah.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
Arnie, what do you see the other clubs up north doing in terms of involvement with your organization? Are there other things that we could be doing to,
Like everybody always wants, I'll tell you our big complaint. Our big complaint is that we don't disseminate the information very good. And early on, we couldn't do it. And let me explain why. Because we hire a lobbyist. We have a lobby firm that works for us. We sign in the contract, we sign that anything that's legislative, anything to do with government, they have control of. And they can tell us what we can say, when we can say it, what we can talk about. They don't have to tell us what they're doing. But that's how it works. And the reason is because you know how the story starts. Hey, did you hear about Bill? He jumped off fell out of the tree. By the time it gets over there, Bill got jumped out of the tree, got ran over by a car, the car hit a dog, and a lot of times it can undermine what they're doing. So we can't talk about it. Sometimes we don't, we know there's something going on. Like, yeah, I'll let you know this is happening. We're coming up to something. And a lot of times people are upset because they're like, well, we don't even know what you do. How about we talk about what got accomplished? Because that's a lot easier than me being able to tell you what's going on sometimes. And like I said, right now it's pretty quiet. It's nice that, we have a few things, but we're make a joke that we're always on, it feels like we sit on the sidelines so long. But the good thing is we're ready for the fight when it's time. We're always ready. And that's where our group's good. We have, I'm very fortunate. My board is awesome. I got guys that will never talk in public, will never say anything. But when you give them a task, they're gonna get it done. They're hardcore workers at it. And there's an economic study being done right now by Green Bay and Whitewater University. And it's the economic impact of Lake Michigan. The fishing industry, what fishing is. And I'm pretty sure, I'd bet hard money on this one, that when it's done, Lake Michigan is going to be the largest economic impact that the state of Wisconsin has. It's gonna eclipse deer hunting, no problem. Because the amount of money that this lake draws to this state is crazy. You know, it's not fishing lures, it's everything about it. You know, and for years, Lake Michigan's, this state got used to putting this Lake Michigan back here because of the '60s and when the lake wasn't productive. It's a whole different world now. And that's one of the reasons that we pushed so hard to get this study done, because it's gonna show the attention that the state needs to give us. You know, we're not the embarrassing stepchild anymore. You know, and when it's proven, you know, we're gonna be Lake Michigan's gonna be the biggest economic driver there is for the natural resource. You know, and I think, you know, we should be pretty proud of that we're part of it.
It's not just the fishing, it's how many boats are out there, how much gas is spent, how much.
Yeah. Look at the money that came to the Racine Kenosha. Yeah.
The casual boater.
You know, look at the money that came to Kenosha and Racine the last few years, the way the gold fishing was. Just in a month. Look what it was here. You know, I've never seen our Kenosha in April where they parked all the way through the park, all the way down Fifth Avenue. You know, those are residential homes all the way to the park. Everywhere you look, there was a boat with a trailer. And I'd never seen that. But a lot of that's the changing fishermen. You know, it's not just dedicated salmon boats. They're big crossover boats. These guys come walleye fishing wherever they have to, and now they come salmon fishing wherever the bite's at. You know, that's a huge thing because it's brought a lot of guys from that part of the world. You know, the walleye world out to Lake Michigan. Now I was shocked how many people I saw, like from Indiana, in Kenosha last year, because their cold fishing had kind of died, and they were here.
It was,
You know,
it was so warm they came up early.
right, and it's just like, wow, look at all that, you know. But that's the thing, they got the rig, and I argued with them a little bit about it. I'm like, look, the guy's pulling, he's got a $70,000 to $100,000 rig on the trailer, pulled by a $70,000 truck. Do you really believe he doesn't have $150 for the gas tank? Even if he doesn't have it, do you think he can't figure out how to get $150 to put in that tank to go fishing? He's got 200 grand wrapped up to go catch a fish.
Yeah.
$150 isn't slowing him down. And you know, and that just a changing world, you know, the whole dynamic of this lake, you know. The guys up north, the one thing they complain about is what the ramp looks like all summer. It's just like, you know, they never seen the people. You know, but that's just the way it is. When the Kings show up, get out of the way. There's gonna be a lot of people there. So, and it's a great thing. That's good. I want to see Kings being caught.
Last year we had. The shore winners.
Oh, Munda, or not Munda,
I can't think of their name.
Jim, our guest speakers, the shore winners.
We had two shore winners come in. They Sanorama, they won the shore category.
Mhm.
Between the two of them. 20% of the contest.
10 of the 50 years.
It was. It was big. When we had them here,
The willingness to travel was
the willingness to travel for those two.
winds are blowing the wrong way, no problem, we're going to
They're
Michigan.
going to Michigan.
Yeah.
It's like, really?
Or they're going they're going up north.
Yeah.
That's the impact that
Yeah.
just as shore people have.
Yeah.
It's not just the boat. People, guys pulling their boats. It's wind's blowing the wrong way.
Yeah.
I'm going over there.
Right.
I'm burning the gas, spending it going around, and then spending money at that, and then coming back. Well, it's.
Alright. You happen to know what's the East Chicago, their pin that they did last year, the first time,
Mhm.
how that came out?
No, I don't know, but I know it was good. I don't think there was no problems with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, they were involved. It just,
yeah.
you know, I don't know if you guys saw that, first year they had a pen there. But I mean, these guys were from the hatchery to the pen, working with the DNR. You know, and ours love to say the word liability.
Well, because the water gets so warm down
Yeah.
south. down
Yeah, but
there.
it was odd. They were doing a lot that, like, I was like, wow, look at that, you know, because here they were always like, oh no, we have to do that. You can't touch this, you know.
Is that in Indiana?
Yeah, well, if you
East
guys,
Chicago.
for those who don't know, you know, Dale's from Indiana before he moved up here, so, and was very active in the Hoosier Coho Club.
Yeah.
So we've got great insight from Market that we don't usually hear much from through his involvement.
Yeah, they were going, they took a vote. They were going to not stock East Chicago and just do Portage and Michigan City. And it was like, we had a meeting and it was almost like a war between fishermen among themselves for saying, hey, between that DNR, we don't wanna shut this down. And it proved to them last year when they built that pin, which they never had before in East Chicago, that it paid off to do the hatchlings and the time that they did them. One time they did them at nighttime, so that the seagulls wouldn't get the hatcheries, you know, the little bites, and one was, I think, maybe early in the morning or something, but it was two different times they loaded that pin before releasing out of East Chicago, and because of that, it helped draw the kings and some of the cohos down to that area, even though that area gets so warm from July and August. I mean, we're talking 70 on the surface, 70,
right.
70 degrees,
They don't know.
70 go down. You know, it's really warm down there, and so.
Yeah, they did a great job
They paid
fast.
off.
They pulled it off quick.
Does he, Angelo, your hand? up?
Angela,
Yeah, I just wanna bring up one thing, commercial fishermen, when they come up with both statements, which will probably be done sometime this year, probably before spring, that it's gonna be very important if we hear from Army that
Yes.
things are happening, that we need everybody to either attend the meeting or write a letter. In the past, we haven't had that good a representation. People haven't done it. And if you, otherwise you'll get it shoved down your throat. So when it comes time, tell your friends, everybody's, you can do it online, you can attend the meetings online when they come up.
Yeah.
That's,
Or you can even email and spread your opinion. But you have to participate.
that's one thing I reiterated to Arnie, when we had lunch yesterday was, as these call to arms come out, for him to disseminate them to us and to ensure we'll get them out to our membership, both in the meetings, but also via an email blast to say, we either need you to do these steps. They did a great one. It was- feels like it was a year and a half ago that we did the last one where you had us doing the write-ins.
Yeah.
But similarly, we need to stay on that and show up in person if possible.
yeah. Well, they're, the good thing is now they've made everything with a virtual opportunity, so you can just
Log in.
attend it Zoom, you
Yeah.
know, or whatever they're using.
Yeah.
But no, all that public opinion, believe it or not, they have to count it. Send an email and it's gotta count, it counts. Now, they don't always use it the way we want, but if it's there, it's on record. You know, that, you know, that you feel one way or another, it gets counted, so. If that's, anybody got any other question? Good. All right,
Thank you for
Well-
coming out. Whoa.
You may know more about the death pens than I do, so after the 2025, which will be, I mean, this year, are they just gonna say you can't do it anymore because?
I have no idea. I have no idea what they're gonna say. I have no idea.
Okay, now we're done.
Okay, now we.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Yes,
If anybody's interested, I got a bunch of Great Lakes Angler magazines, if you wanna pick them up and read over the winter, I got a whole box full. Honestly, I have t-shirts if you're interested, and then don't forget Bradley still has, spots for the football pool.
all right, thanks again, Arnie. Bob?
The board meeting in January will be on the 15th.
Okay, yeah, so we,
just verified that with the club that it's available.
great, okay,
I will be sending the board members notice.
okay. And Jason, I will be sending the RSVPs out to you.
Posters on the way.
All right, upcoming events, Salmon, next thing we have for the club is the Salmonorama committee meeting on the Monday, following in next year, January 6th, that's here at 6:30, Jim? 7 o'clock. Then membership meeting, the 8th, and, therefore going forward, and as you see, I did have the SU Illinois swap meet date, because I was tipped off by, I think Bradley gave it to me, with his registration. If you guys want to make your way down there, it's, they've got, I'd say they have as much patronage as us, if not more, and the number of vendors was quite diverse. A lot of used equipment going around out there, so it was really worth stopping into. 2025 event dates, again, next big one for the club as of this point is the river cleanup in April. I don't know if we'll have an overwinter project like fly tying or that yet, but nothing lined up. Net pens, waiting on the DNR obviously for dating. Jackpot series starts, Salmon-O-Rama, we're into the summer. And I think unless there are any other announcements. Oh, yeah, membership login, if anybody hasn't gotten it, I know I haven't. But if not, that.
When is the marina supposed to be completed?
It's a 4-year project, so it's 25, they should complete by summer, the far east section. Which is where Jason and I and some others were, and Jim Mueller. And then fall of 25 to spring of 26, they're gonna do the section closest to where we used to have our tent.
So we'll probably have to check on transient availability for salmon.
Yes, yeah, I've already started talking to Carrie about that, but they still have a lot of slips. It's just they might not be nearest the fish cleaning station, because a lot of people like us are jumping over there for our permanent slips. But they still have a decent number of slips open.
If the harbor doesn't freeze, is it potentially gonna only take 3 years? Like, obviously, they're still out there, they're breaking ice with their boats and pushing shit around.
I don't think so. I think there's still, I think with the contractor they have and timing, it's probably, everything is gonna be laid on a time frame for accessibility, because even just getting the docks and the piers installed and such that's a lot more than just like, oh, we can go pick them up at, such and such. Yeah. Well, and even I think they're replacing the whole concrete pier system too.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So the entire system is being ripped out and redone. It was a 25-year life, and it went nearly 40. But we had 3 breakoffs last year, I think. 2 on my dock alone. My whole dock floated off with like Jim Mueller and all the jackpot boats in us.
And they broke off twice here before that.
Yeah, twice a year before.
Save your boat all those times and drop a tree on it.
Yeah.
You might want to remind them about the smoking.
Oh, yes, thank you. We had a request during our board meeting from the club. They have no issue with people smoking at the premises. However, between our club and their own club members, they've had issues with cigarette butts out front. So they've established a smoking area back off the east entrance over here with a little disposal thing. They don't want people smoking out front going forward. That includes their own membership. They steer everybody to the backside of the bar over there to go outside and smoke. So they're tired of getting butts all over their property.
I like.
They did just put a new cigarette butt back up.
Did they? That was at our board meeting last week about that. So we're relaying the message as requested.
But when it happens, break the rules, at least use the cigarette.
At least
butt
use the
collector.
butt collector. That's the biggest thing, I think. So.
Anyone not sign in?
It doesn't seem like it's too professional to have people standing around if they aren't.
I understand, I'm just saying, you walked in, there's a brand new shiny cigarette butt collector up front. And when happens, break the rules, or they happen to just be talking, and I'm gonna have one, use that.
I have done my duty.
Yeah.
You've all been forewarned. Yeah. Anything else, guys? Otherwise, thank you. It was a little shorter than some of the last 2 meetings, so appreciate you coming out. And if you got a good, I am open to hearing. I have a 25 to 28 foot target for my boat range. I'm not joking. I'm looking for ideas on boats that handle the waves well. All right. Let me jump out of this meeting and then I will jump into the rest of them, Bob, with you. The rest of the Did you meet Jason? Yeah, Jason, I want you to meet Rick. Jason Baker is our treasurer. This is. Yes. There you go. Jason just did a very proud.
Let your daughter know that I gave you that shoes. You let your daughter know that I.
Just found the donor. Huh? Found the donor.
How bad it was.
Yeah, have more. Yeah, I think I'm sold the other. Right? Oh, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, you giving the tour? Yeah, I'll say. Oh, you want? You said me something? Yeah. Okay.
My brother's like, just don't kill yourself. I'm like, I can make my
I might.
We make our